Hello friends, welcome back to Dynamic Form Studio. In the previous video I spent right about two and a half hours I guess painting the eyes, and I've noticed I'm not fully happy with what it came out to, but I wanted to share with you anyways what I was doing. So let me just get my gloves on real quick, and we're going to talk about it in a second here, maybe compare. So I spend more time on one eye than the other, so this is like what I end up doing the most. This is the one that I went the further along with. It's not bad, I'll be honest, it's not terrible or anything. Let me get the light a little bit away so it's not shiny on the camera. There we go. So I don't think it's bad, but it's not great. It's alright, and alright is not gonna cut it for me, so I'm gonna have to fix this. If we look at the other one that I didn't put more work into, I kind of like it better actually. I don't know, maybe it's preference, right? Maybe you will see it and feel, nah, the other one looks better, or none of them look better or look good. I don't know what your take will be if you ever paint one Ultraman yourself, but I'm liking this effect a little bit better than that one, because this to me looks more like the light is coming through the eyes, like there's some shine to it. Looks more there's a light on in him. That's kind of the feeling that I have. Let me put a little bit more light so you guys can have a better idea. There you go. So I kind of like this. I didn't do any what do we call the shiny varnish. I didn't apply any varnish to this one right here. But if we compare them like side by side, I try to do a few details on the eye here, like with the brush, like emulating some lighting, but it didn't come across as I thought it would. So what I'm thinking I'll do is maybe do on this guy right here the same thing that happened to this one, that looks more like a light is on inside of his helmet. Let me show you guys a little bit closer. See, I don't know if you can see very well, but I tried to give him a little more like detail as far as the eye go. See, it's like, and all this detail that I applied, it's not bad or anything. Try to focus real quick, but it's not great. Like I said, it doesn't look that great. I thought it was gonna look much better. So I'm gonna repaint this guy, the eye on this guy right here. But because I do like the way this one turned out, I'm just gonna do the same thing on that one later. And whatever I did to this one, is just I stopped after I did a wash with the yellow and brown mixed together. So I'm planning on doing the same thing on this side here. I mean on the eyes as far as the varnish goes. So let's go ahead and do that, I guess. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply some varnish to it, and let's see what it looks like. Let me get my little varnish here. So this is the varnish that I'm using. You can use any varnish of your choice. That's the one that I'm going to apply, and we'll see what it's gonna look like. Okay, don't need much. Yeah, I kind of like this. This looks nice. So let me choose a brush. I'm gonna go ahead and use this one right here, and I'll try to do it in the camera so everybody can see what I'm doing. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply it. Maybe I'll bring the camera a bit closer, it'll be easier. We try to do that. Sorry about the camera shaking, Just gonna bring closer to to me. That way I don't have to be struggling to show you guys what I'm doing. Okay. All I'm doing is just gently applying the varnish. I just want to see what it's going to look like with some gloss to it. Okay. It takes a few minutes to dry, but once it dries very shiny, very clear. Kind of, if you look at this side and then you look at this side, you can kind of have an idea what it's going to look like. So let's apply the varnish on the other side. If you didn't like what I did as far as the idea for the eye, no big deal. You can always do what you want on yours. You know, it can be yellow solid. You can choose a different color if you want. You absolutely don't have to do what I did, of course. I did a little bit of touch up around the eyes with the silver. So that's kind of done. Alright, that looks good. So I kind of like when you look from far, it looks better because it gives the idea that his eyes are lit up. And that's what I was trying to shoot for. Okay. This one is completely done as far as the red and the silver goes, with the exception of a few more touch-ups here and there, and the light on his chest, which we're going to do right now. Okay, now while the varnish dries, let me do a little bit more on the other side. Then we're going to start painting the light on the chest. Okay? Just want to do a good layer here. It's going to look thick and shiny. Pretty cool. So later I'm going to fix the other eye to match this style. I think this style fits the character better. Okay. That looks good. I'm just tapping so so our varnish kind of runs through the edges. I don't want it to pull and then run, so I'm going to run up, just remove a little bit of the excess here. It was a little too much, but I think we're okay now. Let me try to show you guys real quick. See how shiny it is now? I'm probably gonna have to do this again because I'm gonna spray the lacquer throughout the figure later. And one other thing that you're gonna notice after I spray the whole figure with this finish lacquer here, this red will look a lot better. It'll be way vivid, way more vivid and way more vibrant. So this will give us the final touch. Okay, let's go ahead and I'm thinking I'm gonna finish these tonight. I'll do a little bit of painting here on the camera, and then probably gonna finish off camera because there's a lot of little touch-ups here and there that you guys don't need to watch me doing. It's basically where the red kind of ran off the lines, it went on top of the silver. So I'm just gonna touch that up here and there, and then But I will make a video before and after spraying with the lacquer. That way you guys can have an idea of what it looks like. On the original design on the TV show, these lines don't do this circle here. These lines actually cross over. Very, very minimally right here. The lines would cross the silver, but I thought I would just do what I did, which is avoid the contact through, the suit. So this is kind of like my touch too. Another thing that I did was the boots. I kind of put a little bit of a, pointing up, because the first version of Ultraman had a very long and pointy shoes or boots. Okay, let me clean my brush real quick. Let's go ahead and clean the brush, and we're gonna paint the light on his chest. See how that's gonna go. Again, I have no idea, but we'll do it together again, just like I did the eyes. So for the chest, I have two Vallejo paints right here. One is the silver that you see on the figure, and the other is called natural steel. So I'm gonna use the natural steel to do the base of the, what do we call, of the light on his chest. So like the batting here of the light, I'm gonna do with this darker shade of metal and see what it looks like. So I'm trying to shake it because it's a little thick. There's a ball bearing inside, and I guess you guys can hear it. I'm just gonna try to shake it as best as I can, and let's do it. I'm gonna put a few drops here. That's more than enough for now, I guess. And I'm gonna do 1 or 2 drops of the, flow enhancer or flow medium, whatever you want to call it. 3, yeah, that's enough, and a little bit of water. And let's mix it all up. It's way darker than the silver that we see on the figure. So I'm a little apprehensive to apply that paint. Maybe I'll put a little drop of the silver, just because I think the natural steel is a little bit too dark for what I'm looking for. So I'll do 1 drop just to light things up. Oops, maybe a little bit more than a drop, but that's okay. Again, I'm just experimenting, and we'll do it together. Okay, that made it lighter, which is good. I like it, but it's thick. So I'm gonna add more of my flow enhancer. Give it a mix. Running a little bit better, and a little bit of water. Okay, that's a good mix. Alright guys, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to try to be very careful and not touch the light, the white in the center. I want to try to do a clean job on this. So let's do it together and do it slowly. Of course, my first coat will not cover the whole thing, but we're just setting the paint for now, so that's okay. And I like how it's looking so far as the shade. Not as dark, not as light. I just wanted to have a little contrast when it comes to the silver on the clothes. I just wanted to have a little contrast, so I think this shade of metal paint here will work just fine. Okay, you see me apply the paint very slowly, very carefully. Now I'm going. I think the last video was so long. I'm so sorry. But I'm gonna speed up the video, that way when you see it again in a few seconds it will be done, so you don't have to be, you know, bored by me doing it so slowly. Okay, so let's go ahead and speed up the video. This is what it's looking like. I brought my heat gun to speed up the process, but heat guns are too strong. It kind of bubbled the paint a little bit on the plate, but that's okay. It gives some character. So it didn't damage much, but that's okay. See how it looks? I'll give it one more shot, one more coat, and then we're gonna go do the light. So let's do one more coat. I don't even know how many coats I did, but I did a few. Good. That's it. All done. Good. So let it dry now. Maybe we'll visit that one more time. Okay, now we're gonna need a vibrant blue to make this work. I don't know if I have a vibrant blue, but let me clean my brush here real quick. Trying to think here. I don't want the blue to be too dark. I guess I'll mix with white. Let's see what we can get. Let me see if I have blue down here. Okay, so I have this blue vinyl paint, and I have Master's Touch again, sky blue. I think this one looks a little lighter, right? So let's try this guy here. I'm gonna put a little bit on my palette here. and we'll go from there. Oop, that was a lot more than I wanted, but that's okay. These paints are tricky, and for that I'm gonna use, instead of using my, I guess I can use my white vinyl paint. White, I think it'll be okay. I'll put a little bit just to make it even lighter. Oops, I forgot that it's actually not going through. I need to clean up the tube. So let's go back and use this one here. Too much. Holy moly, this thing just starts shooting. It's okay. Good enough. Let me clean my glove here real quick. Okay, so now we have a little bit of white, a little bit of blue. It's very thick. See how thick this paint is? I mixed too much. I should have done it differently, but that's okay. I'm gonna do like this. Gonna do lighter up here, darker down there. Let's add some water. Trying to show you guys what I'm doing. Just trying to mix my blues here. Okay. Trying to thin it out. Let's go ahead and use the flow enhancer for a little bit, maybe 2 drops. Yep. See what it does. Perfect. Okay, for the light on the chest, I'm gonna go very slowly so I don't mess this up. Let me clean my brush real quick. Okay, here we go. Let's paint his light. Okay. Whew. right. This selection looks good. Let it dry for a little bit, and then we're going to do another coat. We're going to do a few. But I think I'm going to do a little bit lighter. Let's try a little lighter. Let's get more white. I'm gonna go ahead and add more white here. See what happens. Some water and let's do this. I think you already dried on the figure. No, not yet. I can see that it's still a little wet. Let me see. Almost. Looks really looks kind of cool. I like it. I better wait a little bit more. Let's try to use the heat gun from far to dry it a little quicker. Okay, that worked. Now let's add a little bit of a lighter shade. Yeah, no, this didn't work, but that's okay. Let it dry and then we're gonna apply more of the dark version. Okay, let's use the heat gun again to dry it quickly. If you have a heat gun and you want to use it, that's okay. But remember to hold it from very far, or go ahead and make sure it's not as hot. Let me clean my brush again. Take all the excess off. Okay guys, now we're going to go a little darker and see what happens. I don't want my brush too heavy on paint. Let's do it again. Get my heat gun. That's good. And let's go ahead and apply the lighter blue again. Guess that looks good. Don't know how well you guys can see there, but it doesn't look bad. Oh boy. Try to show you guys. Ugh, the lighting is terrible. I'm gonna let it dry and then see what I'll do. Okay. Alright guys, I think this will be it. I was hoping to do a little bit more about the light effect, but it's such a small area and I'm afraid I'm gonna end up doing more damage than light effect. So I'm gonna leave it as is right now, and then I'll do the varnish once it's dry, and then we'll come back after that and see what it looks like once it's all done. This was a little bit of a shorter video because the last one was just so long, so I'll come back with you guys probably on a different day to do the final spray, to use the lacquer. Oh, I'm sorry, I still have to do the base, so maybe I'll do a video about the base, just like a quick video using the same techniques, but for the most part I think tomorrow we'll be ready for spray to get the lacquer all over the figure. Thank you again for watching. I appreciate you all. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate you. Leave me comments or questions and I'll get back with you when I can. Okay folks, see you on the next video.